Earlier this morning, terror attacks have shaken up the Pakistan government and the Pakistani military. This terror attack has been conducted at the Miawali Air Force Base. The Tehreek-e-Jihad has claimed the responsibility. It comes at a moment when Pakistan is sending back the Afghan undocumented refugees, and the Tehreek-e-Jihad is considered as a proxy of Tehreek-e-Taliban, which in turn has a relationship with the Afghan Taliban. It is all connected with each other. From the perspective of GS Mains Paper 1, 2nd and 3rd, also from the perspective of India, we are going to look at today's topic. Do not worry about notes. It is provided through my Telegram channel, Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries, you can talk to me on my Instagram and follow me on my threads. So, earlier this morning, using ladders, the militants climbed up the Air Force Base, and they used modernized weapons. Where did they get these weapons from? There is a connection with the Afghan Taliban. Pakistan has time and again said that Afghan Taliban is not abiding by the Doha Agreement. The Doha Agreement particularly says that Afghan Taliban will not let the soil of Afghanistan be used as a safe haven for terrorists, which was also a concern for India. And now, as we see that many sanctuaries have come to the fore which are holding terrorists, it is a threat to India as well. But what about Tehreek-e-Jihad? Let's talk about Tehreek-e-Jihad, and here is the Miawali Air Base, which I'm talking about. The terror attacks have happened here only. P2I batches for English are being launched from 17th of November, English 15th and Hindi is 10th. If you want to take admission, make sure you use the code PDLive because these classes are beginning soon. We have to send you the study material as well. It's an evening batch. So make sure you take admission as quick as possible. Use the code PDLive for a discount. The Tehreek-e-Jihad is basically a new terrorist group, and it is Tehreek-e-Jihad Pakistan. It is considered as a proxy of Tehreek-e-Taliban. It is said to be that they are inspired by Indian freedom fighter prominent Deoband cleric Maulana Mahmud Hassan. What do they believe? They want the implementation of Sharia in Pakistan. Also, if I have to talk about this particular graph, Pakistan's soldiers' fatality have grown up or gone up during the first year of rule of Taliban in Afghanistan. Taliban usurped power in Afghanistan in 2021. From 2021 to 2022, this is what the graph is telling us. This is a clear relationship that the Taliban, Pakistan was earlier a very romantic brother of, the Afghan Taliban. It used to provide them sanctuaries for refuge. It used to provide them proper training for their militants, Afghan militants. And now they are falling out because the Taliban does not need sanctuaries from Pakistan anymore. Also, the Taliban believe that Pakistan has betrayed them time and again by handing over such important Afghan people, as in those Afghan people who were important for their government, that Pakistan is considered to be a betrayal. Now they do not need Pakistan anymore. And now Pakistan is sending back those Afghan refugees who were there since time immemorial actually. The Pashtun tribe basically is a tribe that is living across borders, not only in Afghanistan but also Pakistan. So what happens that people who have been living as refugees since like 10 years, 20 years now, they also are being sent back. And this particular attack has come into the backdrop of all this. So there is a relation. As you see that the attacks at the air bases, air force bases, military bases in Pakistan have also gone up. Now, if I talk about Tehreek-e-Taliban, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is an alliance of militant networks which was formed in the year 2007, and these are the areas where it is having a lot of influence. It wants to establish, influence in the FATA region and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That means it comes very close to the borders with India, which is not at all in favor of India. See, the basic aim is to unify opposition against the Pakistani military and also overthrow the Pakistani government. Its main, as I told you, area of influence lies here, but the expulsion of Islamabad's influence in the federally administrated tribal area and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. These two are the major areas it wants to influence. That means very close to the border with India. And the implementation of strict interpretation of this Sharia law in Pakistan is another of its beliefs. and also to establish an Islamic caliphate in Pakistan. That means the government should be religiously political in nature and the head should be the descendant of Prophet Muhammad. This is what they believe. And they also have had relationship with senior Al-Qaeda leaders, including former Al-Qaeda leaders. So it is closely connected to the Afghan Taliban as well. Let's talk about that. It is a separate one, but is a close ally of the Afghan Taliban. TTP fighters used to hide Pakistan's tribal northwest region in the northwest region and also had sanctuaries in Afghanistan. Since Afghan Taliban came back to power, they are openly sheltering the TTP whenever they are in need. Also, the Afghan Taliban has released TTP leaders and fighters who had been arrested by previous administration in Kabul. So that means that it is encouraging. The Afghan Taliban is encouraging the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, although they have their own separate agendas. Their agendas are not the same. But the Pakistani Taliban have expressed their allegiance to the head of the Afghan Taliban. That means Taliban is basically, in Pashto, it means students. Okay? And of course, when there is a similarity of belief system, tradition, culture, they will have an allegiance to the Afghan Taliban. And since the coming back of the Afghan Taliban, their efforts are growing more and more because they have been emboldened. In their eyes, of course, the Afghan Taliban has been able to outserve the coalition that was fighting in Afghanistan against them. And this has emboldened the Tehreek-e-Taliban as well. If Afghan Taliban can do it, why not us? Now, from the perspective of India, it is not in favor of India. Contrary to the popular belief, Pakistan is really important for security purposes. Why? Because Afghanistan right now is under a tribal administration. Taliban is not a modern government. It is trying to become a modern government, but it is not. And a democratic government's support is needed for India in order to curb such influences. And this attack on Pakistan shows that security issues lies in Pakistan. That means it can also get spilled over to Kashmir. Their basic aim is to influence these regions in order for it to become an Islamic caliphate. That means if they are going to see a contiguous region with Pakistan, specifically Kashmir, they are going to believe that it also becomes a part of the Islamic Caliphate. But that is not how we want it to happen, of course. So that is why it is important for India to make sure that Pakistan is able to face its own challenges. And if the civil war occurs inside Pakistan, there will be a lot of refugee crises. Refugee crises means militants in Kashmir. Refugee crises means militants in Punjab as well. Smuggling of weapons, smuggling of drugs, counterfeit currency. These all are a part of it. Also, rise in militancy is another problem. Right now, we are trying to normalize the situation in Kashmir. It hasn't normalized as of yet because we see that migrant laborers who go from certain regions of India to Kashmir in order to look for an alternative job. And this is a government effort as well to show that normalcy has arrived and people can go move to and fro for employment as well, but it hasn't. People are getting shot over there. So militancy is still there. It cannot be rooted out that easily. But we have to ensure that Pakistan, all in all, remains stable. That is the need of the hour. Look at Myanmar. The year it was destabilized, just few years after that, we saw the situation in Manipur. So, insurgents will be alive in the borders. And it is important for countries such as Pakistan to check such kind of terrorism. It has to have a diplomatic relationship with Afghanistan so that this kind of problem can be solved at a diplomatic level and not a unilateral level. For example, the refugee crisis. And Intel has also said that Pakistan is creating refugee crises so that militancy can spill over to India. All right. So I hope you understood this topic well, and I hope you can write a good answer. Thank you so much for watching. Stay updated.